on the battlefield. They erected a marker here to the 4th Georgia Battalion sharpshooters. That's what you see right here, and it is oriented in the general direction of the general line of advance of the brigade, and that certainly was true for the battalion in the first part of their advance. But now, having struck Gross's brigade, the 4th Georgia Battalion and the 20th Tennessee have actually turned northward and now even northeastward. And right here, the marker probably should be turned about 90 degrees if we wanted it facing in the actual direction they were facing when they crossed the road here.
If you can imagine, my stick is Bates line. Down there, it begins to swing, and it comes and swings like a door, or at least the right half of the brigade swings like a door, and so now it's coming this way, coming down the hill towards us.
At 3 p.m., amid the most serious cannonading with shell, grape, and canister perhaps ever witnessed on this continent, together with a perfect shower of balls from small arms, we were led by General Bate into action. When we charged the enemy and drove them back several hundred yards, when the enemy made another stand, and our men, being exhausted, fell back a short distance and reformed with the brigade. In this charge, Major Theodore Caswell and Captain Turner of Company C were both severely wounded and carried to the rear, together with 33 non-commissioned officers and privates, only one having been killed on the field, one, however, soon dying. The enemy, having been driven back at every point and darkness putting an end to the contest, the battalion slept on the field with the brigade. So 92 men, they suffered 33 casualties. So a little more than 1 man in 3 in the fight. And they'll they and the 20th Tennessee are going to be oriented off in or facing to the northeast. And do you want to do Gross and Turchin at this point, or?
Well, I was only going to mention that Gross essentially from here is going to fall back far enough that he breaks contact. The Bates brigade, the right wing here, the 4th and the 20th Tennessee, aren't going to follow him. Bates is going to fall back towards Brock Field, I'm sorry, Gross is going to fall back towards Brock Field and ultimately form almost a semicircular position back there. Turchin will be doing some stuff also in Brock Field, and at some point, some of Turchin's people are going to come, turn, and launch a short counterattack, and that will also help stop Bate in this area. So that fight ends because of those actions, or this particular engagement. Bate's not done, but that explains how they simply don't keep attacking in this direction.
When does Bate, or does he ever realize that his brigade is basically broken in half?
I don't think Bate ever realized it during the action.
No.
He apparently he rode from the left of his brigade, or somewhat closer to the left of his brigade. He rode towards the right, issuing the order to advance. And so he rides up to Colonel Smith of the 20th Tennessee and says, "Now Smith, you know, jump on him like a wildcat." And he may have then gone on to Major Caswell of the 4th Battalion and ordered them forward. But as you heard from Lieutenant Towers, who writes the battalion's report, Bate is still with the right of the brigade at the time of the repulse. The 37th Georgia, 58th Alabama, and the 15th and 37th Tennessee, none of them mention anything about bait in the action. They are all on their own once they start advancing forward. So bait gets his attention is drawn to this fight with Gross, and that's where he stays.
He's too busy jumping off of all his dead horses.
Yeah, yes, and during the course of this, he's going to have a fair amount of horse flesh shot out from under him. So, he will leave the action riding his third horse of the day, an artillery horse that came from somewhere.
So now he's still crippled from his fall
Correct.
when
Yes.
he carries on a crutch or
Right.
something, doesn't he?
Yes, that's right. Yep, he
Yeah,
is.
there's a clutch strapped to his saddle.
Yeah.
He is hot. When he's dismounted, he has to use a crutch to facilitate movement and mount it. The crutch is, or at least on his original horse, the crutch is strapped to the saddle. They've rigged up a way for him to be able to put his crutch on the horse. So,
Yeah, one of the less successful effects of this sort of wheeling maneuver that was just described is that Bait's going to start shedding his two left-hand regiments almost immediately, and that's what we're going to go look at next.
okay. Now we're going to shift kind of across Bait's front as it develops.